The first thing that we want to do before breaking down our pig is remove the most expensive muscle. That is our eye fillet. The knife that we're going to use today is a shorter 5-inch butcher's boning knife. This is kind of ideal, makes life easier, makes things easy to get into gaps and bones. When we're removing the pork eye fillet, we want to remember that we're keeping our knife hard up against the bone. The pork fillet runs down the backbone and is a very unused muscle, hence why it's so tender. So the muscle itself runs from the middle of the loin there, just down to the top of the pork leg. So starting off, we want to remove the back of that pork eye fillet just down the backbone, and we're going to do that by being very gentle and running the tip of our knife along these little riveting backbones. So once we've started to remove our eye fillet from the backbone here, we can start to see the muscle a little clearer. It finishes at the bottom of the loin there and starts at the top of the H-bone there. Now all we're going to do is start to seam it off. So we just want to slowly nick the muscle and start to see these seams here. We don't want to cut too deep, and we want to be very gentle when we remove this. Obviously, being such an expensive muscle, we don't want to cut into it. So we're just going to follow that up, all the way up to that point of the H-bone there. And then we can start to kind of pull it out like I'm doing here. And we can almost remove the whole thing. Now we just need to finish off by just rounding off a little cut around the outside. And again, very gently seaming it off your pork loin. Once we've got it off, we're just going to pull the exterior trim there, and that's great for mince. We're going to put that to the side for now, but that's our pork eye fillet. So once we've removed our pork eye fillet, we're then going to break our half pig into 4 sections: the leg, the forequarter, the loin, and the belly. So first things first, we're going to remove our leg from our second to last joint down our backbone, just this one here. What we like to do is we like to make a nice good mark in the meat before actually cutting through it. With this, you just need to put a bit of downward pressure and have a sharp knife, and you can break through it just like that. The next part we're going to do is remove our pork forequarter. We take this between the 4th and 5th rib, or a really easy way of remembering it is taking it from the other side and from just behind the shoulder. So we can feel the blade a little bit there. That's generally around about where the pork shoulder comes off. When we do this, we like to make a nice clean cut. So we're going to use the handsaw for this part, but first of all, we want to make a nice clean incision so that we're cutting through meat with the knife and bone with the handsaw. Otherwise we can make a little bit of a mess and get bone dust through the meat. So I'm using a butcher's handsaw, and all I want to do is just cut through that bone we've marked through the meat. Nice and easy like that. Pork forequarters off. So the last part of our pork breakdown is separating the pork belly from the pork loin. All we want to do is go halfway through the rib bone. So basically straight through this line here. Like we did with the shoulder, we want to get a nice clean cut. We're going to need to use the handsaw for this one. So I like to flip it over. Again, in the middle there. Steak knife here, nice and sharp. And we make a nice cut all the way through that meat. Okay, knives are for cutting through meat. Hand saws and blades are for cutting through bone. So there we've got our 5 main cuts from our whole hog. Our pork leg, our pork loin, our pork belly, our pork forequarter, and our pork head.